I'm Rob.
I'm Aaron.
And I'm Mike.
I'm Matt.
And welcome to a special edition of Let's Get Ethical.
All right, Barfly Nation. We are at the Missouri Society for Respiratory Care Conference. We are so excited. They have maybe the greatest theme of all time. This Renaissance is just awesome. There's dragons, there's maids and maidens. I'm ready for the turkey leg. I'm ready for the turkey leg. But I'm also here with my best friends from Let's Get Ethical podcast, Mr. Rob Fishwick and Dr. Mike Chan. Hello, gentlemen. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Our guest today is a Missouri native. He is a respiratory therapist. He is an educator. He is a provost at a college. He's a researcher that does everything respiratory care, volunteers, does everything. Dr. Aaron Light is our guest. So, here on our team,
Add some applause.
Okay, yeah.
Well, that's an extra applause.
I appreciate it.
So, today, Mike, you gave a very powerful lecture. And you started with that lecture about, hey, I just wanted a job.
Yep.
And it started off a little rough. And made me think of Dr. Light. When we talked beforehand, you're like, I wasn't a great student, this is how I teach you. I think that is utterly hilarious because I was a terrible student.
Yeah.
Season 3, I apologize. And tell us about your journey into respiratory care.
Yeah, my journey was honestly probably a lot like people that are here in this room. They had no idea what respiratory therapy even was. I didn't know. My wife, my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, she was the one that said, hey, look into respiratory therapy because her dad was a CRNA. And I was like, okay. I was looking at physical therapy, speech path for a little while, but I didn't want to get a master's degree and I didn't want to get a doctorate degree. So, ironic, yes, I know. Yeah. Five degrees later for me, I started out not wanting those degrees and ended up looking into respiratory therapy, knew very little, honestly, about it. But as I was working through my prereqs, I took college algebra, got a D. Took it a second time, got a D. So 2 sets of D's in college algebra. I had to go beg Dr. Chang, who was the chair of the math department. And I was having to go, hey, please let me take this again. I need it to get into this RT program. And he was like, fine, let me take it. Took it a third time, finally got a C and was able to move on. I know, C for soon to be provost. But during this time, I had my first semester at Missouri State, I was a 1.8 GPA student. I got put on academic probation, got off of academic probation by getting a 2.75 GPA, and got off third semester, got a 1.6 GPA. Got on. I will say at that point is around when I met my girlfriend, now wife at the time, and she was like, really, do you want this to be your life? And I was like, no, I need to probably be doing better. So I actually started going to class, started actually turning in assignments, paying attention, doing better. And from there on, I think I was 3.8 or higher, made every single dean's list, chancellor's list, all those types of things. But because of that, I almost didn't get into RT school.
Oh, wow.
They actually told me that I was going to struggle and that I needed to be careful. And I was like, okay. The dean was the one that told me that. And so the dean came and kind of searched me out and was like, hey, just so you know, you might struggle in the program. And I was like, yes, ma'am, I understand. I was like, I will do my best. Ended up being class president, class valedictorian, magna cum laude once I got through. Because for me, once I got into RT school, everything actually started to make sense. All the math stuff that to me was solving for X, I wasn't solving for X anymore. I was now trying to figure out what is the AA gradient, what was correct.
Yeah. That is what I see from your story is your first mentor in life.
Yes.
So, shout out.
Yeah. Patricia Live was Patricia Rock at the time.
So did So that was CRNA. Did she recommend respiratory to you, or is that just he recommended it via her? Exactly that happened.
So he actually recommended it for her to look into.
Okay.
She decided it wasn't something that she wanted to get into. She ended up doing X-ray and ultrasound.
Okay.
But I looked into it, and I'm like, that seems like something that I could do. Primarily because I didn't need to get a master's degree or a doctorate degree. But as far as the true job function, I didn't shadow a respiratory therapist because it wasn't required. I knew nothing about the task.
Was it an associate degree program?
Yep.
Okay.
Now the school that I was at, they had a bachelor's in respiratory, but all the academic stuff was over at the community college. So it was kind of weird. So you did all your prereqs here, went over to the community college, got all the RT actually courses, transferred them back, and they gave you your master's in respiratory. Yeah.
When did you fall in love?
Mine was honestly just getting into it, and Doug personally was one of my educators, and he had this experiment that was trying to show how oxygen wasn't flammable, but rather to just increase the combustion. And so he set up and he had cigarettes and a cigar that he would light, and then he put a nasal cannula over the top of it, and you would see that then it just burst up in flames. Yeah, burnt quicker. And so he actually took a small bore tubing, put an adapter to it where the cigar would actually fit into the adapter. And it was probably like an old 2902, adapter. Yeah, that shows my age.
Sorry. Padawans, right?
Yeah, but put the cigar into that adapter and then turned on the heat sink, and that cigar just went shoo. I mean, it was just a matter of a few seconds. But he wanted to show that it just increased the combustion, but it did not actually become flammable. And I thought that particular experiment, I'm just like, this is so cool. You get to play with this type of, you get to play with concept. Yes.
They said to you when you started respiratory school, you got to play with fire. You're like, where do I sign? Sign it.
Me up, man. Me up.
We're gonna light cigars and we're gonna play with fire. Well, where did you fall?
I fell in love with, and when I got into respiratory school, like I understood RT, and yeah, I knew what it was. It was when I to your point, a funny story onto this one is that very first year, first semester, our respiratory instructor lit the nasal cannula on fire. So we almost did bust the gap.
Was that on accident?
Yes, it was purely on accident. But it was wicked funny because what he tried to show is, see that sack oxygen here, and then all of a sudden, we quickly turned the tank off. But I fell in love right away with just the concepts, science. Me, I have been helping people for years, so for me, that just was a natural fit for me.
So like you had a pretty powerful story. You have. This is when I fell in love.
I do. Was it toy? It was toy. It was between toy to my experience in Sutton Earth. Yeah, it was always not to read it. So you began with Tory, and that was about 4 years in, maybe 3 years in. And then Short Verts was at year like 6 or 7. So right in there is where I realized my wife. Where I realized, this is
There's a common theme here.
this is what it's all about, and this is why I'm here. And I mean, my story is a little bit different than yours in that I fell into it. I'm still trying to figure out what respiratory is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had no idea. And we did all of our didactic work first, and then we went to clinic.
Okay.
And so all they told me was I had to pass the tests. I'm a good test taker. So I passed all these tests, and then I walked into the hospital, and I was like, what the hell? I saw my first patient, and I was like, what am I doing? What is going on? I had no idea. So yeah, I was a little like oh.
Yeah.
Went to college to rescue.
Yeah.
I knew what a respiratory therapist kind of was because my aunt Lindy told me. She's a nurse. I'm like, that sounds fun. I had a scholarship that's going to last 2 years. So I think
Makes sense.
fell in love with it and I got to clinic. It's different. I could make the X a patient,
Right.
my algebra equation, like that started to click. I wasn't a straight A student, but in clinical, I felt at home. So that was awesome. When you were here, Aaron, in this building,
Yep.
with this carpet,
Yep. Exact. Yep. Same carpet, same walls. Looks the exact same.
that moment in this building kind of changed your trajectory in your career. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So I had come back. So we were here when we were a student, but I came back as a staff therapist. And at the time I was trying to figure out, was I going to go to PA school or kind of what it was that I wanted to do more. I'd gotten into clinical practice. I had had a great time, but there was limitations to things that I wanted to be able to do. So I was like, okay, what's next? And so at the time I was looking at PA school. I came here for the conference, and that same Doug Persley, who was my educator, taught me at this conference down the hill, bottom of this. We were at, yep, down by the lake. And it was one of the vendors were having a party. We were all down there hanging out. And he comes up and he was like, you need to come back to school. He's like, our clinical coordinator position is open. You need to apply. And I was like, no, I'm on my way to PA school. I mean, my app was in, all my stuff was in. I was set. And he was like, no, you're an educator. You just don't know it. He goes, I saw you in class. I saw how you helped people. He goes, I saw how you communicated. You were able to put pieces together to help out your classmates that some of them may not have passed the program had it not been for you. You need to come be an educator. And so I had a few more little conversations with him, and I went home after the conference, talked with my wife, and we were trying to kind of figure out PA school or educator. And we did what every young couple does, is you do a pro-con list, and we're sitting down on the floor, writing it down.
Flip a coin.
No,
I still do that. I see.
where's my life going to go?
What luck am I going to have today?
Yeah, no, we were 20-something-year-olds sitting down on the floor, drawing out a pro-con list. And a lot of what it was is we knew that we wanted to have kids. And one of the concerns that I had was being a PA. If me and the doctor are both sitting there at one of our kids' baseball games, and this shows how old I am, but the pager goes off, who's getting up? And I knew it was going to be me getting up. And so I started kind of looking at it, and I was like, I'll apply for the educator position. And now, 23 years later, I've gone from clinical coordinator to program director to dean to now provost. During that time, having the fortunateness of having a college that supports me, we were able to start a bachelor's in respiratory therapy program, the first ever at a community college in the state of Missouri. And that was always kind of one of those goal things for me, was how can I do this at a community college level? And luckily, Dr. McGrady, who was the provost at the time, Dr. Higdon, who was the chancellor, they were like, saw an opportunity, we made it, and we were the first ever bachelor's in respiratory at a community college in Missouri. There.
I just think it's fun. Didn't want to go back to school.
No.
Same way. I am a doctor.
Yeah.
Just kept going back to school.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, she actually, this was the one time that, and I joke with her, this was the one time the going into respiratory, get my act together, all that was 100% driven by her. The doctor, she actually tried to bribe me with a boat not to go get my doctor.
Wow.
Because she knew the money that was going to be invested, the time that was going to be invested. So she was actually trying to bribe me not to go do it. But I started looking at it when I was doing my master's in respiratory care from Northeastern University, but like Dr. Barnes and all them that were up there. Ran into Lisa Trujillo up there, Janelle Gardner, and all these people, and kind of made this connection with people all across the country. Carl Hinkson was in there with us, and we're just like, Lisa and I just kind of meshed. We're like, okay, what's next? So we decided on the doctor, and I actually convinced my wife to let me do it because I did a complete ROI analysis on it. of if I get my doctorate, this is what I'll get in additional payment, and this is how many years it's going to take me to pay it off. So I took my business degree stuff from Missouri State and applied it to do a calculation of an ROI.
How accurate was
It was spot on.
it? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I looked at it. I was way off.
No, it was, I think it was like 2 months over 5 years that would return an investment based on what we would get for the step increase from getting your doctorate. And I think I was spot on.
Good for you. That's a ton of work.
Yeah.
Did you show your wife the house?
Huh?
No, you did not.
I did not. No PowerPoint, but there was an Excel sheet. So I did have an Excel spreadsheet that
Did you have graphs?
Uh,
Pie charts?
no pie charts. It was just literally all the data down and to where I had to do the calculation of this is how long it was going to take me. Yeah. It probably would have gone easier. She's very visual as an ultrasound tech. The visual stuff, I probably should have done a graph, but I'm much more numbers. So yeah, now I would do charts.
With the degree? Without the degree? Here. With the degree? Here.
Yep.
No. With. Yeah, I mean, well, you guys were the attorneys in the pro con. I was doing that much.
Yeah. that was all hers.
That's you were way disappointed.
No, that was 100% her. But yeah, that's how I had no thoughts on it. My sister was the National Merit Scholar. She was 2 years ahead of me. And so I kind of rebelled against academia because of her. And now she's the only one that I require to call me Dr. Light. And it's because she does not have a doctorate. I have 5 degrees. She has 1. And mine is a doctorate. And so she is the only one that, yeah, she'll be in and around when we're at mom and dad's house and be like, Aaron, I will not respond. Won't respond until she says Dr. Light. Then I'm like, yes, what can I help you with? Yes.
So you talked about what got you on that, how you got that team. What about dean and provost? What drove you to that? What was it that made you decide I want to be the dean and then provost?
A lot of it was just the desire to feel uncomfortable. When you're in a position for a decent amount of time, you feel comfortable. And I don't like feeling comfortable. I want to get this. I knew at any given time, he could ask me to go do a particular lecture or presentation. I could stand up in front of class. I could do it. And the students would have no idea that you just told me 2 minutes ago to go do this lecture. The stories, I could just do it and I was comfortable. And so the dean was going to be something that made me uncomfortable. Now, instead of overseeing one program, now there's 32 different pathways at Ozarks Tech. So we'll have to oversee that, coordinate all the people, create a strategic vision and a plan, all things that I hadn't been fully doing as a RT program director. And that was really the same for going to provost was, all right, I've done dean for 4 years. What could I do here? And how could I get uncomfortable? And that's the main thing that I try to tell people all the time, that if you ever get comfortable and complacent, it's time for a job change.
So next is mayor.
Yeah. Next would be retirement and then see where I end up. Yeah.
Yeah.
He starts to think about leadership. Legacy. The whys. See, some of, I mean, you're a manager, director, educator, and I was a director for like, we got to a point where we wanted more. We wanted to have more.
Yeah.
We wanted more, but we also wanted to make ourselves bigger. You started off in that conversation. Yes.
Yeah.
That we're going to have these young students that are here, some respiratory therapists, is how do you impact more than just the patient you see you play?
It's great. Big question. I want to come back with something you said about not being comfortable, right? I actually have a sticky that sits on my computer screen, my office all the time. It says, be comfortable being comfortable.
Yeah.
Because it's easy for us. It's easy for anybody, and I think you would agree that you can keep this hat on. Point, you're very comfortable with it. take that hat off and put another one on, doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel right. So I think I personally have a lot of admiration for anybody. I don't care what field you're in, but I think particularly in the case of respiratory care, is your therapist who want to build a better network. So networking is huge. It's building that interconnected group that grows and becomes more exponential time. That speaks to legacy. That speaks to what are the next opportunities.
Yeah.
Right? Me, you network was different. That was that networking that we had. Right? Somebody saw something very special in you.
Yeah.
And they said, I want to take a chance with this guy. And that's part of it too, right? Somebody looks at you as a mentor, as a coach,
Yep.
and they see something very special in you, do and unique. If you say, we really want you to be part of this, because we think you're going to be a great football. And I'm going to tell you, I'll be the first to admit, there were many times that you even shrunk back initially and said, I think you did say,
Yeah.
That is me. When you, to your point, when you start peeling it back and you get into those uncomfortable situations, what you're learning and growing and you're evolving, suddenly you have all this immense knowledge. Well, and again, that circle keeps growing. And all of that speaks to legacy.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you, because what do you think your legacy is going to be?
I don't know. Yeah.
That's a good question.
And I know I asked you to prophesy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but
What's your
legacy?
yeah. Hopefully it is that expanded influence that you're talking about. Because that was some of my motivating factor going from staff therapist to educator in that kind of pro-con is I knew as a staff educator, I could take care of these 12, 15 at that time and do my best with them. But being an educator and dealing with 20 to 24 students in a classroom, they're each going to grow up and have their own 12 to 15 patients each day. And so if I could help create a better respiratory therapist, a more knowledgeable one that can effectively communicate, effectively be a better critical thinker, I'm going to now be able to influence care in our area, even at a broader range. And so that kind of broadening of that is part of that influence. Also just being a part of starting off with the Missouri Society for Respiratory Care, then going into the House of Delegates, and then going to now the AERC Board of Directors that I've been at, showing what can be done, what changes can be done. I've been very proud to be a part of, and this was started by Carl Linkson as the president, but the compact licensure that is coming through, and as we've now reached 7 states, I think actually Dana Evans is in our bill. Actually, we're 11 now, yeah. Yeah, we're at 11, and there's another one that right now is on the governor's desk. And so we're just waiting on to be a part of that and to show this is a group of respiratory therapists that got together and said, hey, we need to make this happen. And we were able to make that happen. And for students, therapists to be able to see that you can actually impact not only local change, but also a national change by doing that. That's what I would like to be part of my legacy. Many of the faculty members that are at OTC currently are members of the Missouri Society of or all are members, but serve in particular roles in the Missouri Society of Respiratory Care. Some serve in the House of Delegates. They're just now doing an election right now. And I saw that a big chunk of them were OTC grads. Even if they weren't in Springfield, they're in St. Louis or wherever else, and they are serving that in a volunteer role. That would be the thing that I would probably be most proud of, or if I could say that I might have some particular influence in them volunteering and giving back to respiratory care.
To me, it's like a painting. It's your masterpiece. That when you're done, you get to look at it and know that it's good. Defense often legacy last 2 years straight. And for all you young therapists, we're all the least 30 years, I think, average in all of us. Don't think about it. Think about it when you're 25. The question I have for Mike and Rock, this is also as a senior therapist, education, your industry, Do you have an obligation to teach the younger generation how to be best?
I see our already making his hand. And yes, 100%. And I know I'll tell my staff therapists, right, in order for us to grow the profession, in order for us to fill the staffing gaps that we're fulfilling, we need more people to step into the professional care. And as those RTs are coming into our hospital, right, to learn, this is our opportunity. Yeah, we do have an obligation to take our knowledge, our experience as clinicians, caregivers, those who empathize and generate to show these young RTs what it means to provide health in healthcare. Yeah. So the answer to your question is yes, we have an obligation, and these are the ways we need to do it.
Like legally?
Whose time you got? No, we absolutely do because, and speaking of legal, I've noticed really since COVID, last 5 years, I serve as an expert witness, and over the last was it 13, something like 14, something like that, 13 or 14 years, I've worked as an expert witness on probably 28 or so different places, and half of them have been in the last 3 years. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. And it's these stupid little mistakes that come from a lackadaisical life. It comes, and every day I'm putting everything, I'm going to check the box. I didn't do it. I'm going to check the box. Patient suffers. And then, or I didn't do it. I'm not checking the box. I got lazy in my charting. I got lazy in my work. I cut a corner here. And even the smallest corners can have the biggest impact on the patients in a negative sense. And so that's a thing. But I also wanted to add to the legacy thing from an educator standpoint. I'm sure you will agree with this. I take pride in the fact, in the number of patients that I have been indirectly responsible for. I said, there is a students graduate my program in Southern California, and IELTS students, and obviously work in California, Nevada, Arizona, Tennessee, Idaho, Ohio, Minnesota, Florida. I'm probably missing a state, Washington. They spread out, and so there are patients in states I've never been that are benefiting from care that I got to be, and I got to be. It's not that I was. I get to be indirectly responsible, and that's awesome. Yeah, it's amazing.
And like I know a bunch of your facts, so you're starting to spread like health. Sorry, I
Have a couple more hosts
To get the culture out. It's a culture. And I think that's what you do great at Ozarks, is that you say, okay, I want to change this culture and I want to build this culture and everybody can get behind it. To me, I'm a sports fan. That's what and you guys are sports guys too. Like that's what it is. Being a coach gives you the ability of spreading your input.
Well, and you look on the coaching side of it, you always look at what is the coaching tree and where have they been and where have they had positive influences. That to me, when I look at it and I see the faculty that we have here, but then also one of our graduates is a faculty member at Metro Community College in their new Bachelor's in Respiratory Therapy program. I've got graduates of mine that are staff educators at hospitals and other areas, where to me, that's part of that kind of that coaching tree is, hey, these are people that I've influenced, and then they have now gone on being educators and influencing their own broader circle. That's one of the benefits I think as a educator that we have, is that you can have those ripple effects, and hopefully if you've had a positive enough influence on them, they want to get into the same profession.
People, they tell two people kind of thing. Yeah. So, because Rob and I have talked about, you and I have talked about, we started off as educators because we were senior therapists that should be educated. And when I found out, like you and I talked, when you were a manager and when I used to be a leader, that's what I did. I spent most of my time educating. It was get my thoughts out of my mouth and into someone else's brain. And that's what you guys do every day.
Oh, Joe, even staff educators, when they're at the bedside, most of the time we're educating the physician on the ventilator, the mode, and what we are seeing. We're educating the nurses on those things. And that's the thing with respiratory therapy. We're so condensed into a particular area of our expertise where a nurse has to know a little bit about everything. We have to know everything about a little bit. And that piece then causes us to have to be an educator, not only to our counterparts of respiratory therapists, but also to the nurse, the PT, the physician. I mean, there's many, many times, I mean, I've gone to a physician and be like, hey, here's the blood gas, here's the vent, here's what I think is going on. And they're looking, they're like, well, but why are we not using this mode? I'm like, well, this is why we're using it, because now I get a variable flow, and you're educating. And you are one.
You also have to come educate.
Yes. Yeah.
So that, I just think you have a great story. I think we all have great stories, and that's what Let's Get Ethical and RT Sidebar is about. Really about telling stories, because stories matter. It sticks to your brain.
Yeah.
It helps you
100%.
educate.
Yes.
When you tell a story. So there are so many people who thank. First off, I thank for Mike, Rob, Dr. Light for being here. We do shout outs every time. And my big shout outs actually to two of your faculty that I know very well. Nathan Pounds, you watch my any social. I'm going to create more memes within All on a Dragon than I will ever. I will spend days doing this. But I also want to shout out to Rachel. Rachel's the one that kind of put all this together, kept your communication. The Missouri Conference, even though it's in the middle of nowhere, is a really well attended conference. So congratulations, Missouri Society. So those are my shout outs.
Love them.
Rob,
Love them.
give us some shout outs.
All right, here's some shout outs. People in Missouri are absolutely amazing. Friendly, kind folks. Absolutely love being here in Missouri. Thank you very much.
Hi. Yeah, I'm gonna steal Rob's from our last podcast. And thank my wife for letting me come. You did that last time.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
right.
damn, I should have done. But to the Missouri Society for Respiratory Care, Aaron's for being here. Your story is awesome. Rachel, Nathan, Richard, thank you for having us. And it's been amazing. I've had a blast.
Aaron, when we did our free interview, you had a laundry list of awesome people.
Yeah.
Your network's huge, and you can't thank everybody.
No. So I'll start off the one that got me here as an educator, got me at this conference is Doug Persley. Without him, he is my absolute mentor and would not be here without him. People like Dana Evans, who I followed here as a vice president of Missouri Society. So she trained me in a lot of the volunteer type of stuff. And now she is the AARC president. Yeah. Lisa Trujillo. Yeah. Lisa Trujillo, Sherry Tooley, Carl Hinkson. Then Dr. Thomas Barnes is really the one at Northeastern that professionally, there's not any person that is a better professional mentor than Dr. Thomas Barnes. And then, of course, the Ozarks Tech faculty of Brandon Burke, Sarah Hoff, Rachel Jenkins, Tristan Goldhammer, and Nathan Pounds, because I agree. I want to see him back riding around on that horse. There he is, or the dragon. Yeah. So any person that is willing to dress up, riding a dragon deserves a shout out. Yeah. So that is my list. There's so many other people that honestly I would love to be able to thank that have been influential to me. That all of us, none of us get anywhere without having people that saw something in you, supported you along the way, prodded you to, you need to go and do this. And that is, I think, the key thing that I used to always tell students is find a mentor that is willing to help you, push you, and direct you into positive areas in your, yes, it needs to be a positive mentor. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Push you into those positive things and are going to say good things about you too when you're not around.
Well done.
Great podcast.
Yeah. Awesome.
I usually end this thing, but I'm going to have my friends from Let's Get Ethical give us a little
Sign off.
So, I like how it all right there, you guy.
He always signs us up.
So tomorrow, sign up. Oh, so tomorrow, join us here on day 2 of the MSRC convention, where we are going to get ethical with a really fun audience interactive bunch of case scenarios. We're gonna have a blast at it. So see you tomorrow.
And with that,
See you next time on RT Sidebar.
And let's get ethical.
And let's go.
June.